This is Nick Schifrin, the producer, Zach Fannin, who's also behind the camera, and we're in Garissa University. This is the site of the deadliest terror attack in Kenya in nearly 20 years. Last spring, Al-Shabaab gunmen stormed this campus and killed nearly 150 people. They stopped at a classroom because they heard students chanting Christian prayers. And then they came here. This is an atrium for a women's dormitory, and they lined up more than 100 students and shot each one of them in the head, execution style. Al-Shabaab claimed that this attack was retribution for Kenya's involvement in a military campaign against Al-Shabaab in neighboring Somalia. We are here reporting on the fight against Al-Shabaab, the human rights abuses that have come out of that fight, and also the corruption that seems endemic throughout Kenya. Now, the fight against Al-Shabaab remains intense. We attended a funeral of one of the soldiers who was killed in an attack by Al-Shabaab in the Al-Ade Kenyan base in Somalia. That attack was the deadliest on Kenya's army ever.
My brother died immediately, instantly.
But there are real questions about the tactics that Kenya is employing in order to combat Al-Shabaab. We have spoken to almost a dozen victims of human rights abuses. These are people who are ethnic Somalis who say their family members have been abused or even killed, or they themselves have been tortured by Kenyan police or soldiers.
They whipped me for 3 days. They electrocuted me, and I felt like I was about to die.
We have spoken to Kenyan police officers who admit they have abused Kenyans of Somali descent and spent their time extorting rather than protecting those people.
The little man that you paid a salary cannot get them for you and your family.
Those abuses have helped Al-Shabaab recruit inside of Kenya.
Al-Shabaab is tapping into that anger to radicalize and use bitter young men against our security agents.
Our reporting has also focused on corruption, which so many Kenyans say is endemic and alienates them from the police and the government. One of the world's fastest marathon runners says the body that oversees athletics steals money. So where's the money going?
I think those people, they give to the money.
Athletics Kenya, the race organizers. A whistleblower at a bank told us his bosses tried to silence him by accusing him of the very crimes he uncovered. You found these fraudulent transactions.
Yes.
And the opposition party here accuses the government of stealing $1 billion through an elaborate scheme called Eurobond.
It's almost Brazil, if you look at it. It's almost like a smash and grab heist.
Kenya is the U.S.'s most important ally in East Africa and against Al-Shabaab, and the worry is that the violence, the corruption, the human rights abuses could increase ahead of a very important election that Kenya is holding next year.